That way, give them a little bandwidth, because
Hey, Gene, can you hear me?
Yes.
Would it work better if we mute the team's audio and then use speakerphone for me?
Nope, I think we're good.
We're live.
oh, it changed.
There we go.
I think you're good.
Yep, we're live.
Okay, it's 5:06. We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to be filling in as the temporary chairperson. John is here, obviously the digital feed, so I'll run the meeting with his approval. At this point, we will adopt the agenda. You've all had an opportunity to see that. Any changes?
No change.
Seeing none, let's vote. All approved? Approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Disapprove?
Aye.
You're approving or disapproving?
You
Approving. Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I'll restate the agenda items. We have 2 items under consent. We have Fire Chief District Manager report. We have no unfinished business. Under new business, we have legal defense resolution, and we also have an RFP for disaster recovery and mitigation consulting services contract. There is no attorney report, and that's it. At this point, we will allow for public input on non-agenda items. Please hold your comments to 3 minutes or less. Are there any public comments? Yes, Dan Allers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Mayor Dan Allers, Town of Fort Myers Beach. I'm here just to give some information that I just received a call from Commissioner Kevin Wayne that was on a call with Director Guthrie that informed him that there is a $5 million FDEM loan, zero interest loan, available out there, and that he was quite shocked that no one in Lee County has applied for it yet. And Commissioner Wayne revealed to me that we could do it separately. So the fire district could do it separate from the town of Fort Myers Beach. So I just wanted to get down here in time to be able to share that information with you. Figured it would be easier than calling all of you. So for what that's worth, I just wanted to take the time and thank you for the time to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Worth
sir.
$5 million. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Any other comments? Seeing none, the agenda. Next item, we have 2 items on the agenda, the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. Next item, Fire Chief District Manager report. Chief?
Good evening, commissioners, community, and visitors. It's been a while since we've had a fire chief report, so bear with me. Got a lot of good information for you. So hard to believe, we're coming up on almost 4 months since Hurricane Ian. We are quickly working towards recovery and our new normal throughout the district and throughout the community. There is a high demand. There's a lot of anticipation for quick, expedient recovery. We just have the difficult job as the fire district to, say, yes, we're with you. We want to recover. We want to rebuild. We want to do it as quickly as possible. But just a reminder, we cannot sacrifice safety. We have to do it in a safe manner. The last thing we want is a secondary disaster of any large scale or any loss of life as we recover and as we rebuild. We have the unfortunate job of fortunate and unfortunate job of maintaining the minimum fire and life safety standards as we rebuild. Fire official Campbell and her team are doing a phenomenal job working with our partners at the town of Fort Myers Beach, as well as Lee County government, as well as the state, as well as our local business owners and our community to ensure that we're out there doing this safely and rebuilding and recovering as quickly as possible. So thank you to Jennifer and her team. Good news, the district has recently received approximately 50% of our forced labor or overtime cost for the response phase. That equates to around $650,000 from FEMA. Thanks to Jane and the amazing resources that we had on loan to us from the Florida Division of Emergency Management, Director Kevin Guthrie, who was extremely generous in providing us resources to supplement Jane. I also would like to thank the City of Miami and Chief Joe over there. He sent us very early on a team of people that helped us with our disaster recovery documentation and cost recovery. Just amazing partnerships, amazing people that supported this community and our organization. So I'd like to thank everybody that I'm forgetting and all of those people. This evening, as you've seen in your packet, I will be seeking approval to negotiate a contract with our attorney with a disaster recovery consultant company. We'll be talking a little bit about that. That is going to be an essential contract that we are getting ready to execute. Probably in all of your terms and all of the years that you served on the board or been associated with the district, this discussion is going to be critical for our future. And there is going to be a lot of federal, state, and local dollars and grants and recapture opportunities as we rebuild and we recover. This is going to be essential work. Temporary Station 31 is progressing. We anticipate that being opened up sometimes in March or April. We also have been working closely with the state. As many of you may have seen, the temporary emergency room that was on the island has gone away. The volume was no longer supporting it. We supported that decision because it was quite costly, $80,000 to $100,000 per day that was costing. So it was time for that resource to go away. We've worked with Director Guthrie, the town of Fort Myers Beach, as well as one of our local healthcare providers. We're like, you know, people have managed health conditions. So you'll see Beach Health Center has on loan from the state a temporary facility on our TOPS property to open up and at least start providing some medical services to the community so people know where they can go and get their blood pressure medications or get sutures or get antibiotics. So that's essential that as we march towards a new norm and return to normalcy in the community. So I'm happy that we could provide that partnership. In October, we had several anniversaries. Many were, this list is pretty long. So in October, we had service anniversaries with the district ranging from 30 years with Battalion Chief Tom Groh, all the way down to 14 years with Lieutenant Bradley Hartman. In December, we had service anniversaries ranging from 22 years with Battalion Chief Terry Brunson, all the way down to our newest folks, firefighter Sophie DeClerc, firefighter Jesse Miranda, and firefighter Brandon Poolhall. All of those folks that had those service anniversaries in October and December, I extend my congratulations to them and thank them for some hard work. Exciting news. After the board approved the position of Community Relations Manager, we posted that position November 10th, 2022. The district received over 100 applications. It was one of the largest turnouts. And I highlight this from our human resource report this month because, as you remember, pre-Ian, April, May, we did a lot of work together. Staff, the board, we did a lot of work evaluating salaries and, you know, why do we struggle with recruitment and retention? And a lot of work was put in between finance, HR, myself, the board, to really look and critically evaluate our salaries. And I can tell you from multiple state, federal, regional resources, our salary range attracted our top talent. From those 100 applicants, over 100 applicants, we were able to do the difficult job of getting down to 37 highly qualified people, and we had to make a difficult decision of how many of those highly qualified 37 move forward to an assessment center, which on February 1st, we will be interviewing 5 of what I consider the cream of the crop of unbelievable talent. So I'm very proud to see that process moving forward. Over into operations, I'd like to welcome back District Chief Scott Worth. As you remember, Scott's taken a pretty heavy personal loss at his house. Actually went over one evening while he was working, and it's pretty profound, the loss that Scott and his family took at their home. He had just got drywall up, and with Scott's meticulous nature, is doing a wonderful job for his family, but he was ready to come back to work, and we're happy that he's back to work. He's helping pick up some of the load now, so welcome back, Scott. Over in operations, we have, of course, seen a pickup in our first unit response time objectives. We're starting to realize the loss of a central corridor station with Station 31 being gone. We've seen our times increase slightly there. We've also seen our travel times pick up again. A lot of that is due to that central station not being there, not having those resources, and also because of the reallocation of our rescue, with our rescue being closer to our border, with our closest unit response, as well as our COPCN requirements. That rescue is being pulled more and more out into the county to supplement those resources on high acuity emergencies. We've seen from 2021 through 2022, post-Ian, we've seen approximately 921 calls less than what we would have seen in the same time in the same period. That is to be expected. Not a lot of people are on an island. We're not seeing the amount of day trippers, the tourism, as well as the displaced residents. So we anticipate seeing that reduction in call volume for some time. Training. For training October through December, not a whole lot of book training or video training, as you can imagine. However, our team in operations got some of the most unbelievable, once-in-a-career lifetime experience working with the nation's best. They worked with federal FEMA teams, USAR teams from as far away from Indianapolis to Houston to New York City. We had the best of the best in this community, taking care of our people with just unbelievable professionalism, diligence, and a standard of care that was just impressive to see. And our people, especially our newer firefighter, paramedics, firefighter EMTs, had a baptism by immersion about what the career is, and an opportunity, a hands-on training opportunity to serve this community, which really is once in a career. Beyond that, our administration, our administrative staff chiefs, they worked with what is the absolute best. First, they worked with the Louisiana Incident Management Team, which were the team that was ground zero for Hurricane Katrina and many, many other storms since then, and many other natural disasters, as well as terrorist events throughout our nation, throughout the world. And then they were replaced with the New York City Incident Management Team, and unbelievable experience, unbelievable training, unbelievable growth, unbelievable partners that we will have for the rest of our time as we serve in this community for all of us. In fact, the Louisiana IMT convened a group of mayors and fire chiefs for me when they returned to welcome me to the club of post-disaster, post-hurricane life and what has come to fruition. So it's nice to have that wisdom and that experience just a phone call away to not only me, but to all our staff. With that, obviously, I'll move over to support services. I cannot say and reiterate the importance of hiring the right people for the right job. And I've got to recognize publicly and in front of all of you, Trevor Mercure. Trevor was forced to function without a supervisor. And when you read the human resource books and you read the leadership books and you say, you know, hire the people that will do the right thing at the right time for the right reason when no one's looking, well, Trevor represents what we want in this district and what every employee is in this district, in my opinion. He had to function in a semi-independent manner without the benefit of a supervisor because all of the chiefs, all of our directors were focused on the mission. And he had the difficult job of getting us up operational after that storm, restoring 3 facilities, securing a destroyed facility, and just performed unbelievably. Support services, as you can see in your packet this evening, was extremely busy, and they continue to be extremely busy. And Trevor continues to do an amazing job, and his growth and his contribution to our organization and to our community, I commend him for it, and his dedication to the mission of this organization. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. We've had several completed projects that are major. We needed new gear extractors. We're working through grant opportunities. I'd like to also thank the Southwest Professional Firefighters, Local 1826. Their principal, their vice president reached out to me, Henry Garcia. We met. The IAFF in Washington, D.C. is going to be extending grant writing services to work with our staff for the assistance to firefighter grants. Chief Worth has already identified several of our SCBAs, our air packs, were damaged during the storm. They're at a point that interoperability, we just can't buy a certain amount and try to blend them together. And that's a huge, as you know, any of you that have been on the board, that is a huge fiscal liability. So we're going to be working with their grant writers to hopefully submit a grant to ease that financial burden. And their folks in Washington, D.C. said we will hand walk that application directly to where it needs to go. So I'd like to thank 1826 for their partnership and their continued partnership through our recovery efforts. Over in administrative and the finance branch, I can't say enough about this lady sitting to the right of me. She's been amazing. She has absolutely been amazing for somebody who was talking 9 months ago about retirement. I think I finally got that 15-year agreement, but Jane's wisdom and her knowledge and her patience has been phenomenal. The FEMA cost recovery process is extremely bureaucratic. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's frustrating. Jane has been phenomenal in her diligence and her attention to detail and working with various state resources that were on loan to us. So I can't thank Jane enough, along with the city of Jacksonville and again FDEM for the amazing resources that they sent to supplement Jane's efforts, because we could not do it if it was just Jane and I trying to do it. There's just no way. Recently, the district engaged BidNet Direct, and BidNet is a federal and state compliant system which is free, which we learned about through this whole FEMA cost recovery and looking at our RFP and RFQ process. Our RFP and RFQ process is state compliant. It's partially federally compliant. However, there's certain reporting requirements when you post an RFP or RFQ, data points you need to collect that we just simply didn't collect, and that's important for when you're trying to recapture federal dollars. Like our disaster consultant that you'll be hearing about later on this evening. So BidNet, what BidNet is it's a system that's free to state and local governments. When we do an RFP or an RFQ or a request to bid, we will be able to post our RFP, RFQ to BidNet with a simple hyperlink to our website. The people that are interested will go to that hyperlink, look at the RFP, RFQ, and what we collect in the background is we will be able to collect critical demographics that enable us to collect the maximum amount of our federal dollars. So Have we did a good job targeting minority business owners, veteran business owners, female-owned business owners? So it's all-encompassing, and we have a better scope to target all potential bidders, and we collect that data point to prove that we have done our due diligence other than just posting it in major circulations and hoping for the best. So it's a good partnership, and I know it's going to be a good resource for us moving forward into the future. New section in the Chief's report. Another absolute critical resource in an ancillary support was our technology and communications and our technology and security administrator. Want to thank Craig for his outstanding service during all of this. In the initial days, weeks, we wouldn't have been able to do a lot of what we did with the efficiency that we did without having our own internal technology and security expert, getting internets up, getting phones up, getting radios working. It was an amazing resource, and this body reinstituting this position, you must have had a crystal ball somewhere, because we could not have done it if we would have had an outsourced third-party vendor. Craig's contribution and his knowledge, if something wasn't working, he had the knowledge and expertise. He would jerry-rig it. We would see him with batteries and wires, and he did some amazing stuff at our forward operating base with getting us power when we lost power and generators there. So it was an amazing to watch our professionals work. So kudos to you for reinstituting that position. Over in life safety, Jennifer and her team again are doing amazing work. They continue to work with the town to expedite people's structural reviews and electrical reviews so they can get power. They continue to get out in the community with the inspectors and talk to people and being nosy and making sure they're staying safe and providing them resources where they can. Of course, we've seen a decline in inspections. Not a lot of businesses to inspect, and we've seen corresponding drops in our revenue as well as our plan review processes. So, but that's all to be expected. And that, this evening, concludes my fire chief's report. Are there any questions?
Jackie?
Nope, none, thank you.
Jim? Ron?
No questions, but good job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Same here. Okay, we'll move along. No unfinished business. New business, legal defense resolution. Ron, will you make the introduction?
Yes, so this is a resolution that was drafted. There is a memo in your board packet this evening introducing it from Attorney Salzman. This is a resolution that he has recommended to all his districts and his clients to enact. It's if they didn't have one on file, which we do not as a district, this resolution will provide for legal defense of the district's officers as well as employees. This resolution does not replace any insurance carrier coverage. It's a reiteration of state statute performing their duties with a public purpose that the agency will provide a legal defense. This is, think of it as gap coverage between what our insurance carriers would provide and what the district may provide. There is also in statute as well as a resolution, if for some reason the employee, agent, or officer is found not to be acting in the public purpose or illegally or not in the best interest of the district, and we expend those funds, we are able to go after those funds for recapture. So I present that to approval of this resolution.
Thank you. I'll read the resolution, then we'll go into discussion. Resolution 2023-01, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners for the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District, Florida, adopting a reimbursement policy with regard to support and legal defense, providing for severability clause, providing for repeal of resolutions or policies inconsistent herewith, and providing for an effective date. First of all, do we have any public comment on this resolution? Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Discussion. Jackie?
No discussion. If Andy feels this is appropriate to fill that gap, as you're saying, then I support it. I know that he is always looking for ways to kind of protect and ensure that the department is covered. So I appreciate this. Thank you.
Jim?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I reviewed the thing this afternoon, and I'm glad that this assistance from the district would be available, not just to the commission, but really to all the employees in the district if things would come up that would require it. So, yes, I would be 100% supportive of this.
Ron?
I'm also on support of this.
And I also support it, especially since it does include all the employees. This is a business that there is always a potential for lawsuits. So I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-01 for the legal defense of the district officers and employees. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, no further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote on this one. Jackie?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Jim?
Yes.
I vote yes. John?
Yes.
Okay, carries 5-0. Next item, RFP Disaster Recovery and Mitigation Consulting Services Contract Approval. Ron, would you and your friends introduce it?
Yes. Thank you again, Mr. Vice Chair. So, as you recall, a few board meetings ago, the board authorized me to enter into RFP per our policy for a disaster cost recovery firm to come in and help with the ongoing cost recovery and future funding potentials the district may have into the future. This is probably one of the biggest decisions that we'll be making because this is really going to assist us in our recovery, not only as a district, but what we do and what our services look like moving forward in the post-Ian world. Jane Thompson, our Director of Finance, convened an RFP committee. She evaluated several potential interested parties, and I would like Jane to talk a little bit about the RFP committee and who they evaluated and the work that they did.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Good evening. As the chief mentioned, we formed a committee. We asked some of the neighboring fire districts if they would be willing to lend us their finance folks to be on the committee. So I would like to thank Lehigh Acres and Iona McGregor. Mark Winsenreed from Iona McGregor, he's their CFO. He served on the committee, as well as Anita Crissel from Lehigh. She's their finance manager. Terry Bellamy served as well. Terry, you met at the November board meeting, or the December board meeting. She's here from on an FDEM, Florida Department of Emergency Management contract. So she served on that committee as well, since she really had the expertise to be able to assist with the process. And of course, our own Jennifer Campbell and Colleen Brooks served as well. So the 5 committee members reviewed 3 qualified responses from Integrated Solutions Consulting, iParametrics, and AC Disaster Consulting Services. It wasn't extremely close in terms of the scoring, so we were pretty comfortable with submitting to the chief a recommendation for the intended decision, which was posted to the website for the 72-hour period as required by state statute. Not receiving any protests, we moved forward to put it on the agenda. Just to let you know, there was 9 criteria for evaluating these firms, and it was competence, what their current workload is, can they handle our district, although we're small, it's still part of their workload. Financial responsibility, ability to observe and advise specifications, for compliance purposes, their past and present record of professional accomplishments, their professional resources. So do they have the depth of resources to be able to pull from the various types of tasks that we would like them to do, from mitigation to grant writing, you know, just a lot of things that are involved in this kind of project. Their past and present commitment to small and emerging businesses and their contributions toward a diverse marketplace. Their ability to design an approach and work plan to meet the project that we have for them. And of course, we looked at their fees and rates, which was part of the scoring process as well. So I'm happy to say that AC Disaster Consultants was ranked on the top of the list, and they worked with Mexico Beach and their fire department in doing an alternative project, which is the same thing that we're looking to do. So they have really good experience with what, you know, our project looks like. Any questions?
Questions? Jackie?
None, thank you.
The only question I have is, as far as the Mexico Beach, excuse me, that it took Mexico Beach a really long time to do anything. I mean, were they involved in that, or did they come in after the fact? I mean, what did they offer Mexico Beach that they couldn't figure it out on their own?
I believe there was a different consultant in place originally, and they were replaced with AC Disaster Consultants.
So I've been in contact with Mexico Beach, and what Jane has said is correct. There was an initial firm that was brought into place, and AC Disaster Consulting came in to replace that firm. As far as, you know, figuring things out on your own, there's not a district or an entity that can figure out this process on their own. And if they do, they're going to miss out on many, many opportunities. I anticipate our annual service cost with this contract, which, if we do this right, is reimbursed, or we will be able to recapture part or all of those funds through FEMA if we do it right. I anticipate this being $75,000 to $100,000 annually for many years until we capture every grant and every funding possibility that we can. We're going to need it if we're going to try to build a new fire station using grant money through the state and federal government as well as the local government. That doesn't even come close to what it would cost us to hire and maintain a deputy director of finance with a grant writing background and FEMA knowledge to have on staff. So there is a small organization like this in a community that has historically provided and been proud of being government-like. We don't have the bandwidth to do it. And when you're dealing with the federal government giveth, but the federal government can't take it away. So if the federal government, if FEMA gives you funds, there is nothing to say that in 5 years, if they do an audit of that award and they find that there's an I that isn't dotted, a T that isn't crossed, that they cannot come back and take that money from you. So this is a prudent investment. This is a prudent decision. And it is my recommendation, after reviewing the work of the RFP committee, that we've selected one of the best qualified firms before you. With all that being said, I'd like to, if it pleases the board, invite Ms. Vanessa Gatto up to tell you a little bit about AC Disaster Consulting.
Oh, absolutely. Come on up. Come on up. Sorry, Vanessa.
That's right. Good evening. Thank you for having us here. I can speak a lot about our company. AC Disaster started 4.5 years ago. We are a women-owned business. We are certified as a small business. Our corporate office is based out of Colorado, But I will tell you that the majority of our directors live here in Florida, including myself. I'm the director of debris management, so that's what we do. We're a full spectrum emergency management service. So even though we're a small company, we do everything across the board, everything from pre-storm to during storm to after storm. So, we're able to cover almost any kind of need that's out there. We spend a lot of time in Mexico Beach. I was saying that we actually still have weekly contact with Mexico Beach. Whenever, FEMA may come back or they have questions about something, they pick up the phone and we're right there for them. This is 4 years after the storm. We still have weekly conversations with them and are there to support them with any needs. We have a lot of contracts here in Florida. On a smaller scale, we're bringing in us like small groups. Right now, we're working right here in Fort Myers Beach for the Florida Division of Emergency Management. I have a core staff here that's kind of helping oversee the debris cleanup. But we do have pockets of management that's brought in by entities like the state to assist in all areas. Like I said, this RFP is for mitigation, for public assistance work. We have a huge division that does that. Dina Batista, who would be the project manager, she actually lived right outside Mexico Beach, so she was involved in that from the very beginning till current. She worked on the fire station there. She helped mitigate that, relocated to a different location. A lot of out-of-the-box kind of methods we used to get some money back. Mexico Beach had a very low bucket of money after the storm, so we were able to expedite some project worksheets to get, I think it was like $2.4 million within the first couple months after we were brought in. So we do have a lot of great resources and a lot of great staff that kind of can think outside the box and knows FEMA regulations and state regulations and grants that I think would be beneficial to you all. Any questions?
Well, I will say though, Vanessa told me that she was married right in this building. 17 years ago, was it?
Yeah, 17 years ago. I was married here, and I've been working here since the storm came. And as soon as I saw that there was hotels that were available, I called up right away, and I think I was the very first person to book here. And I said, we need to get our money back, bring some money back to Fort Myers Beach. And so, yeah, I'm staying here and was married here, and this, town and place was really near and dear to me.
My point being that she is familiar with the area here, obviously. So,
Thank you.
any questions? Jackie?
None for me, thank you.
None, but thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief?
So with all that said, it is my recommendation to the board this evening that you approve me and the attorney to finalize and execute the proposed contract with AC Disaster Consulting.
Do we have any public input on this item? Excuse me. Please hold your comments to 3 minutes or less. Seeing none, we'll close that portion. I make a motion to approve the Fire Chief Attorney Salzman to finalize and execute the proposed contract for consulting services from AC Disaster Consulting. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Okay. Any comments, discussion? Jackie?
None, thank you.
Jim?
Other than I just think this is a great idea for the district, and I think we'll be very pleased that we did this.
Ron?
Yes, this needs to be done.
No, I agree. I've always been leery of consultants. This is way beyond the scope of any of us, anybody on the island. So I totally support this too. So at this point, we don't need a roll call, do we? Okay. We made the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. Okay, the next item, attorney report none. Chief, closing remarks.
No, thank you for another great meeting, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, commissioner remarks. Jackie?
None. I just, again, want to thank everyone for all their hard work and their effort. And there's a lot happening on the island every day, as you can see. Things are getting better day by day. The debris continues to leave, which is excellent, and I know our commissioners, our fire department, the town, our mayor, the town council staff, they all have they've been trial by fire for sure here, and you guys are doing a great job, and it's very much appreciated out in the community. I talk to people every day who are appreciative, so just keep the good work, and that's about all I have.
Okay, Jim?
Sort of echoing what Commissioner Lezak said, I've talked with lots of people who have nothing but high praise for the actions of our employees in the course of that disaster. And I just want to personally thank each and every member of this organization for their personal commitment to this community at a time when many of them were suffering, like Scott was, on their own. They got clobbered just as badly as this rest of the community did. But our people were here, and they just continued to perform at a high level with great commitment. And it even now, as I look back on it, I am amazed at what a great response our people gave us. So thank you. I personally, from me and on behalf of the many commissioners that are interested, I thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Ron?
I echo what the other commissioners said so far. Specifically, Commissioner Lezak, there's a lot going on the island, and that's true. And what that basically is stuff coming down. Today on my street, Delmar, where the Shamrock used to be, 2 houses are coming down on top of 5, I think. And where I'm staying off of Connecticut, a house yesterday and a house today are coming forward. They're gone. The best thing about it, as fast as they knock the house down, the trucks are there taking it away. On Connecticut, there's no debris left. In 3 days, 2 houses, you'd never know they were there. And that's going to be going on for a while. So, yeah, things are moving all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's progress.
John, would you care, before I comment?
Thank you, Mayor, everybody else's comments, and also I'd like to welcome back to Chief Work. Scott, it's good to have you back, sir.
Good to be back, thank you.
As far as the community, I'd like to offer our condolences as a district and board, myself personally, to the Myers and the Semmer families for their losses here. Both those gentlemen were big members of our community for a lot of years, and they certainly supported the district and the town and the island. And lastly, thanks to Commissioner Wood for running the meeting. Again, my apologies for not being able to be there, but I'll make it up next time.
No problem. Thanks, John. I would like to also welcome back Scott and, of course, mention, as he just mentioned, the Myers and the Semmers. We regret their loss, feel bad about that. I want to thank Mayor Dan Allers and his wife for showing up today and telling us about a great opportunity that we certainly will look into. And I think Commissioner Nickel put it best by thanking all the hardworking people in our district. And without going through this, saying the same thing, we all feel that same vote of gratitude for how hard they work, and the people that are sitting at these tables on both sides here in the white shirts just put in tremendous amounts of time and effort, and they're still somewhat smiling and somewhat awake. But I know how hard they've worked, and we appreciate that. So if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.